did you know that something as seemingly small and insignificant as getting laughed at on the playground can cause you to have something like IBS or chronic fatigue syndrome in later life? I know that's a really extreme example, but I needed something to get your attention. Hey everyone, I'm Natty. I'm an intuitive energy healer and reader, and this video is all about how emotions can cause physical injuries and illnesses. Every single thing that we experience in life affects our emotions. It's important to understand that emotion happens all over the body, not just in the brain. I'm going to give you an example of this using simple physiology. If you're someone who's really sad, odds are you're going to hang your head down like this. Over time, this can put strain on the back of your neck and cause you to have a neck injury or an imbalance up here. Similarly, if you're a very angry or tense person, you might tense your upper back quite a lot and do a lot of this sort of motion, which again is going to put physical strain across your back and cause you some injuries and some pain in that area. This is a very, very basic way to show you how emotion can affect us physically. Going deeper than that, there was a bunch of research done in 1985 that proves how emotions can trigger peptides to carry chemical messages to our body and chemically change our cells. Now, we all know what happens when a bunch of bad cells get together. They cause us a problem. Emotion is just energy in motion. So everything that we experience, every emotion that we have is just energy. When we experience negative emotions from something like a trauma, this energy can infiltrate our energetic bodies and get stuck and stored in all sorts of places where we don't want it. What can then happen, as our energetic system works very closely with all of our other systems, a blockage in our energy body can cause a blockage in our physical body, which over time can result in a physical illness or an imbalance or weakness that can eventually cause a physical injury. Our energy systems are really, really important, and having stuff in there that we don't want can honestly affect us so much on an emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual level. This is something that I feel should be being taught in schools and be more widely accessible to everyone. Why isn't it being taught in schools? It couldn't possibly be something to do with how the government's set up and the fact that we can't tax energy medicine. I'll just leave that one with you. I'm going to give you a couple of examples, one from myself and one from a client that I've worked with, that can show you how something like an emotion that you've experienced bloody ages ago can come and trip you up and cause you something pretty nasty in the moment. A few years ago, I suffered chronic fatigue syndrome for about 2 years. Now, as a personal trainer and an NLP practitioner, I naturally attacked it with everything I had on the physical and mental level. I changed my exercise regime, I changed what foods I was eating, and I went for various different therapies. Nothing shifted it. It wasn't until I went and visited an energy healer that it was gone in an hour session. So this was 2 years of me trying to do everything I could, and then this amazing woman gets rid of it in an hour. She managed to pinpoint that I had some energy blocked and stored in various parts of my body from a trauma that happened to me 6 years previous. And what was happening was this energy had built up so much, it was starting to leak out into my body, causing me chronic fatigue. What the actual hell? This was now 2 years ago, and I have not had any fatigue since that day. Literally an hour session, boom, gone. Another example of this is when a client came to see me with breathing difficulties. I put my hands on, did a little bit of magic, and got some images up of a car crash. I asked him if he'd ever experienced a car crash, and he had. And the intuitive messages I got were that when he experienced the fear of the car crash, now this was a car crash that he wasn't injured in, but it was the fear, the emotion that caused him to take a sharp intake of breath, and this had affected his lung area. I asked him if when he couldn't breathe, it felt like his breath was stuck up here and he couldn't breathe out again, because that's what I was empathically feeling while working on him, and he said it was. So I helped him unblock that energy and resolve that past trauma. He went away and his breathing was fine. Bloody magic. So I want to add a disclaimer in that I am not a physician, I'm not a doctor, I'm not trained as one, and that if you have a physical injury or illness, you should of course go through the appropriate channels. These videos are just trying to teach you that there is more out there and that there is alternatives if you're suffering. In my next video, I'm going to explain to you how I use energy healing to remove these blockages and to potentially heal and treat physical illnesses and injuries. If anyone's interested in booking a healing with myself, I can do them locally in Norfolk, or I can do distance healings over FaceTime. Please don't hesitate to get in touch. I'll stick all my details down there. And as usual, if this video resonates with you, share it with people, hit subscribe and hit the little ding dong so that you get notifications in the future. Other than that, crack on, have a good day.